I'm on a boat in the middle of the James River. I'm a couple miles down from historical Jamestown, but if you look behind me, you can see the construction site where these huge towers are going to be built. 9 of the beagles that were rescued from Virginia Tech by Richmond Animal League, like Cupcake here, were put into foster homes while they wait to be adopted. Virginia state law prohibits commercial markets like Blackheath Meadery to sell glasses of their mead at their location, but you can come by and get a bottle. These milk-producing cows are in the cow share program. Their raw milk is extracted and ready to be packaged. Good evening, Sabrina. They're as tall as the Statue of Liberty. There'd be 17 of them stringing power lines across the James River near historic Jamestown. 2 environmental groups and the James City County officials asked the Virginia Supreme Court to step in and stop it. Jamestown, Williamsburg, Yorktown, Virginia's historic triangle. History buffs and environmentalists say it tells us where America came from.
So we think that this is just a brilliant place that needs to be protected.
Riverkeeper Jamie Brunkow is a part of the Down to the Wire Coalition, 8 groups that came together to fight the towers. Their online petition has more than 18,000 signatures. He says these towers will have negative effects on wildlife along with affecting historical resources.
Carter's Grove, which is a colonial era plantation right near where the power line will hit the land.
These 295-foot towers are set to be built in Surry County, with 8 miles of power lines crossing the river at Skiffs Creek. While Brunkow says the lines will disturb historical areas, Dominion Virginia Power's David Botkins says that no one will hardly notice.
Far out in the waterway and in the viewshed area that it's barely visible.
I'm on a boat in the middle of the James River. I'm a couple miles down from historical Jamestown, but if you look behind me, you can see the construction site where these huge towers are going to be built. Towers that Botkins says need to go up on Dominion's schedule, or the area could eventually face rolling blackouts.
At the end of the day, Dominion has a responsibility to keep the lights on for everybody.
The coalition has urged Dominion to put the power lines under the James instead of towering over it, but Brunkow says Dominion wasn't interested.
Dominion's got a lot of smart engineers that I'm sure can come up with some better ways to do this that won't harm this really historic and beautiful resource.
Dominion Virginia Power has already staged equipment in that area preparing for construction. Even though the Virginia Supreme Court's ruling has already been delayed several times, they're expecting a verdict sometime this month. Back to you, Sabrina.
Thank you, Evan.
And I'm Evan Ratner. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, a lot of excitement on the VCU campus with the announcement of the new head basketball coach. Will Wade was announced as coach last week before a crowd of about 1,200 people who packed the Siegel Center. Some much needed spring cleaning in Richmond over the weekend. RVA Clean Sweep and the Manchester Alliance recently hosted the first ever Project Clean Stream in Manchester. Everyone knows baseball is America's pastime. One organization in the Fredericksburg area is trying to bring that pastime a little closer to home. Insight's Derek Marion sits down with the founder of the group to find out more. Richmond celebrated the end of the Civil War and slavery with several events, and many gathered to reflect on our nation's history. Insight's Amaya Ray is in the newsroom with more. Good evening, Amaya.
Good evening, Evan.
An event that helps pets find a home celebrated its 5th birthday. Local shelters showed up to the event with their barking 4-legged friends. And finally tonight, Snuggle Up Close, a new business called Cuddle RVA just opened up in Richmond. Wow.
Evan, is that something that you think you'd be interested in?
I actually really enjoy cuddling. You know, I actually call myself a self-proclaimed professional cuddler.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Your wife must love that.
She does love it. You want to see? Come
Yes,
here. Bring
I
it in
do.
for the real thing.
All right, awesome.
We like to cuddle here.
That's great. You are a professional
See,
cuddler.
this is good. All right. And that's it for this edition of VCU Insight. I'm here with Elliot Roth, VCU senior and founder of the organization TEDx at VCU. Elliot, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
So technically, you're a VCU senior majoring in biomedical engineering.
Technically.
But you're in all these other roles. Tell me a little bit about being an entrepreneur.
Well, One of the things that I always tell people is that it's all about what you're passionate about and what skills you have. So I'm really passionate about putting teams of people together that are greater than the sum of their parts. And I've all sorts of different skills. So I try to apply those in any way that I can.
So these skills help you create all these different companies. What kind of companies are you creating? It was a big day for owner Bill Cavender in early March. The grand opening of Blackheath Meadery. Breweries make beer, meaderies make mead, a fermented honey drink.
I got into this business to provide an alternative alcoholic beverage for people. I think a lot of my customers are going to be craft beer consumers as well.
Consumers, thousands of years ago, couldn't drink enough mead, and now is making a comeback. The American Mead Makers Association says that mead production has skyrocketed 130% since 2011. Virginia state law prohibits commercial markets like Blackheath Meadery to sell glasses of their mead at their location, but you can come by and get a bottle. The journey to open the meadery started back in 2013 when Cavender and his wife created a Kickstarter project called RVA Mead Lab. Cavender is encouraged by the positive feedback he receives.
I've had great conversations with some local brewers about doing some collaborations.
Richmond locals have quickly become fond of the introduction of this new beverage.
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a great thing to try if you've never had mead.
And Cavender weaves a good tale about legends surrounding mead. Supposedly, the first humans found it looking for water.
They pull out this magical elixir, which when they drink, they become intoxicated.
That ancient elixir just hit Richmond. For VCU Insight, I'm Evan Ratner.